evening, class of 2027 Wolfpack. Welcome to West High School, everybody. We could not be more excited to have you here tonight, filled with our future wolves that are about to walk through our hallways, parents, caregivers. I see some future wolves out there. It's a whole family affair, and we are so excited for you to be here tonight. My name's Jen Pluger, and I have the honor and privilege of serving as your principal here at Sun Prairie West High School. And tonight, we are going to talk about what it means to be a wolf, the journey that we're on starting year 2, and what you can expect moving forward in your high school career, and the leaders that you are and the leaders you are becoming. So last year, we did a thing. When people ask me, hey, JP, how did last year go? And I said, it turns out, starting a large comprehensive high school from the ground up, it's a thing. It's a big thing. It's a thing that hasn't been done in over 40 years in the state of Wisconsin, and we did it, and we are here to tell the tale. Woo! The last 3 days, we've had staff in the building, and we've spent some time reminiscing to a year ago from now. A year ago from this week, we had not one working stapler in the entire building because somehow every stapler that we ordered was a lemon, and they all broke the very first time you used them. You couldn't staple anything. We also discovered that someone forgot to order Scotch tape, so there was no tape in the entire building, so you literally couldn't adhere anything to each other because you had no staplers, you had no tape. It was a situation. And then my personal favorite is when we were in the Commons, which we'll go out and see tonight if you haven't had the chance to see it yet. We're doing our professional development, and we've been working hard. There's paper everywhere. And all of a sudden, these giant fans turn on, and no one knows why they turned on. No one knows how they turned on or how to shut them off, and it's like a straight-up hurricane in the Commons. There is paper peeling off the wall. There is paper flying all over. And I look at my assistant principals, and I said, next step, learn how to control the fans, because we don't know how to do that. And so this year, I stand before you, and we have staplers, we have tape, and I can shut off the fans. And now, while that may seem like a thank you, yes, I can shut off. Okay, let's be clear. I cannot shut off the fans. My amazing custodian, our amazing custodian, Jose Gonzalez, if you haven't met him yet, he is amazing, and he's the greatest of all time here at West High School. He can shut off the fans. So, Jose can shut off the fans. I actually can't. I don't know how to shut off the fans still. And I tell that story, one, because it's hilarious now. It wasn't so funny at the moment. Although I did just start giggling uncontrollably, because what do you do at that point? You don't even know what's happening. We did a thing, and we are now ready as the leaders and the teachers and the support staff of this building to join with you, our newest wolves, to take our wolf pack to the next level. We've got our feet underneath us now, and we're ready to run. So last year, not only did we have all of the newness of the stuff, but everybody was transitioning. Some of our older students, and some of you may also resonate with this story, went through a lot of change. We went through a lot of different buildings and transitions from here to there, and we're no longer with our friends. It was a lot. We had staff coming from, I like to describe it as a Mickey Mouse. We had a third coming from what was Chums, a third from the historic high school, and a third like me that came from other places. And we had to bring it all together. We had incredible successes, and we are super excited for you to join in this wolf legacy that we're creating with our clubs and sports. How many athletes do I have in the room right now? Anybody that's already involved in wolf stuff? Look at those hands in the air. I love that. Amazing. Where are my musicians? Musicians that are going to be involved in music. Cool. Where are my art, theater, drama kids? Amazing. Cool. All right. You guys are going to help us continue to build the legacy and all of those different aspects of who we are. We had a National Merit finalist last year. That's a thing. And we launched our own coffee shop in our school, for our students, for our staff, by our students. When we go for a walk later tonight, you're going to see it. It's got a really sweet light up sign now, and it's called Timber's Grab and Grub. We are innovating and doing new things and creating a culture and a community in this place so that each and every one of us is proud to be a wolf. We also have some areas to grow. We're going to talk tonight about some things you can expect because you probably have heard some things. I'm going to foreshadow. I'm going to drop this and walk away from it and come back. My students, we're going to talk about cell phones tonight because you may have heard what cell phones are like at the high school after you've come from the middle school, and we're changing things because it didn't work. And so when you know better, you do better, right? And now that you've done a thing once, you can grow in it and be better for it. We're going to talk about some of that tonight. So we are focusing, we've talked to staff the last 3 days about what they are doing with instruction in classrooms so that every single one of you, regardless of how easy or hard school is for you, regardless of your abilities or how you learn, regardless of background and language and race, every single student feels seen, known, and valued in your classroom by your teacher. We're going to focus on attendance. We're going to talk about it real explicitly tonight. That we are in class from bell to bell because that's where the learning is. And we got to focus on our learning so that we can open doors for our future. And then lastly, we're going to talk about vandalism. This amazing building took some damage last year, and that's not who we're going to be as a community, and we need to move forward. We're so excited that you're here to help us write the next chapter. Chapter 2. So let's talk about who's in the room here with us tonight. Again, I am Jen Pluger. I am your principal here at Sun Prairie West, and I want to bring up my 2 amazing associate principals. Give it up for Dr. Lee and Ed Ford while they come up on stage.
Hey, what's happening, guys? My name is Mr. Ford. Real happy to be here. This is my first year at Sun Prairie West. Previously, I was a dean of students at Madison East High School, and before that, I actually taught general music and choir at the middle and high school as well. So I'm really excited to be here and looking forward to a great school year.
I'm Dr. Lee. Looking forward to have you here. It's a great school. We're gonna make you the best. So we're looking forward to see you next Tuesday, right? So welcome.
Perfect. In a couple of weeks, on September 12th, there's another event in the evening. That's called our open house, our back to school night. And that's when we're going to have all of our staff here for you to meet teachers, etc. This week, while everybody's getting their feet under them, many of our teachers are at home catching their breath, being with their families. But we got a couple of teachers in the house. So I'd like to bring up Mr. Derek Block to come say hi. And any other teachers I may not have seen, give it up for a little love for Mr. Block.
I see some familiar faces. So I'm Mr. Block. I teach biology, and I also teach human anatomy and physiology, but I'm going to be talking to you a little bit tonight about the 9th grade network, the idea that we're working in that space. So I'll come back to the mic later and lay down some numbers for you.
Awesome. Thank you, everybody. So as we enter year 2, we are focused on being one West. I'm going to go back for a second to our opening slide. First, I really like that graphic. And I'm a little biased because I made it. But it's pretty sweet, isn't it? Yeah? Okay. We are focused this year on coming together as one community, as one student body, as one group of parents and caregivers supporting our teachers communicating with parents and caregivers, students collaborating with teachers, and coming together to make this place that we call West. And we're going to do that by being a pack. Students, how many of you know what I'm talking about if I say CARES? CARES means something to you, and you know that your school in the past had something called CARES. Okay, that surprises me a little bit. All right. Don't worry, I won't tell your middle school folks. I won't tell you. It's okay. Your secret's safe with us. All right, so I think last year your like school expectations, your like general school expectations that you like stand by was CARES in all of secondary. And last year, because of the big move and the big shift, and we were moving everybody around, everybody had CARES. And now, as we enter year 2, we get to keep forming our own identity. And here at West, we're wolves, and we're proud to be wolves. Yesterday morning, when we were at convocation, where all the teachers come together for the whole staff in the whole district, they like yell off every school's name, and your wolf staff howled in an impressive way, and everybody's like, what was that? We're like, that's right, the wolves are in the house. We are proud of being wolves, and we show up as a pack. So these are the words we are going to live each and every day as every member of this community. We have pride in being a wolf, and we take care of, do our very best in everything we do. We're accountable. We make intentional choices about what we're doing, and we are accountable for those actions. Collaboration. We are working together to build a collective future. My future and your future are dependent on each other, and we're going to work together to make that happen, and we're kind. We focus on the needs of others and think about someone else before, in addition to thinking about ourselves. All right, a couple other things that we have going on and coming up this year. We are launching a student senate. That student senate is going to be a representation of leaders from our different clubs and organizations. I had a principal advisory last year, but we can do better and have more representation. That student senate is going to be a place that works with our admin team and a two-way dialogue and conversation for us to figure out what's working, what's not, and how do we problem solve. We've been spending all summer to plan for joy. Starting on September 15th, in our commons, you are going to see some amazing banners that say SP West celebrates Hispanic Latinx Heritage Month. You're going to see flags from all of our Spanish-speaking countries hanging in the commons. And we've got staff that are going to empower students to lead monthly celebrations. Black History Month, Hmong Heritage Month, Autism Acceptance Month. We're going to be celebrating our community throughout the year. And I saw a whole lot of hands up a little bit earlier when I asked, where are my athletes, where are my musicians, where are my artists and my actors? It is our goal and our expectation that every single student is involved in something. One West means this is all of our school, this is our future, and we can't do it without you. We need you to build this future, and we got to find your place here in this community. We know, looking at our data last year, the number one predictor above all else of how a student did in grades and attendance. Number one predictor, were they in at least one club or activity? Students that were in at least one club and activity rocked it. Students that didn't feel a sense of being a part of the pack, and they struggled with grades and attendance. So we're getting everybody connected. When we're rolling things out and you're hearing about clubs and activities, if you don't see what you like, make it, build it, create it, get it started, and we'll tell you how over the next couple of weeks. So I've been talking for a little bit now. I'm going to hand the mic over to Ford, and he's going to get you up and get you connected as One West and starting to meet some new people here in the space.
Sweet. All right. All right, so here's what I need. Everybody, let's stand up. We're going to go into the aisles. We're going to get into that back space, and we are going to take 60 seconds. We're just going to take 1 minute, and what we're going to do, using a handshake, a high five, a fist bump, a wave, introduce yourself, name only. And go. All right, we're going to bring it back together in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right, where are you at right now? Right up here. I loved hearing all that conversation. All of that introduction and that dialogue was cool. Okay, we're going to do one more. This one's called Mixed Emotions, excited, nervous. Here's what you're going to do. You are going to find somebody wearing a similar color shirt that you don't know. You are going to introduce yourself. The person who is wearing the most blue goes first. So like I got blue jeans, I'm rocking a blue hoodie. Like most likely I would be the one starting that conversation. I want you to talk, share what is one thing you're excited about this year and one thing that you might be a little nervous about. All right? So we're going to do this. We're going to go right now. Let's take 1 minute. Let's find somebody out there that you don't know, and we'll go there. And go.
My son is going to be a freshman this year. I hope he's at the principal's office.
All right, guys. Well, I hope everybody had a chance to meet somebody they didn't know. We're going to bring it back together now. And thank you for that. I always like taking a break, getting a little social. It's nice to do. So next up, we've got Dr. Lee, and he's going to be talking about 9th grade.
Thank you, Mr. Ford. So, as you can see, transitioning from 8th grade to 9th grade is a different environment. And now you are in 9th grade. It's not going to be like 8th grade anymore where your grades are not as important. Here, your grades are very, very important. So 9th grade is a key year to be successful in high school. Mr. Block is our 9th grade leader. He's going to come here to explain to you why GPA and your grades in your classrooms are so important. So thank you so much, Mr. Block, for taking your time over and to share your knowledge and leadership with our students.
Excellent. All right. So I'm going to pull up the slide here, and we're going to do a little what's different kind of game. For those that were with me for Keys to Success, I helped organize that and kind of spearhead that effort. And my slides weren't quite synced up. So if you were here for Keys to Success, you're going to get to see the reveal here in just a moment. All right, so what you're going to see here is that we've now transitioned into letter grading system. So that becomes a new experience for many of you as you are on a 4-3-2-1. And your GPA is the important thing that you need to focus on and track and be aware of as you're working through your academic work in high school. In high school. What you'll notice is, if you look up there, I've got 4.0s as an A. What I want you to see is that percentage-wise, an A is an A is an A. There's no such thing as an A+. All right? So if you look up there and you see it, a 93 is the same as a 99.9 repeating or 100. An A is an A. There's no A+. All right? So that's something to note. All right? I'm going to give you a parallel of two different students and kind of give you where their GPA was as things shook out. Our target as a network, a 9th grade teaching community, a network is made up of the 4 core subjects. So a science teacher, a history teacher, an English teacher, and a math teacher. In the perfect world, and we'll see how the schedules kind of shake out, your student will have the same 4 core teachers in that network. So we as core teachers can wrap around those students and help them navigate their freshman year within that system. Our goal for all of our students is to be a 3.0 or higher. PK pointed out in her opening that we want to open doors for students. There's some research that shows that anybody that is 3.0 or higher in their freshman year in cumulative work, so first semester, second semester, and is on time and in class, only misses class 4 times a semester, has an 85% chance of graduating high school, strictly based off GPA and attendance. So if you're in the classroom, you got a greater chance to be successful in the experience. So my analogy is a door and a window. Doors are open with 3.0 or higher. The window is an opportunity for you still to get to places and see things and do things. It just makes it a little bit more challenging. So our hope is that in a network system, we can help support you in doing that. So here's my number breakdown. I've got my first student. Their first semester, their GPA turns out to be a 2.45. To get that, the behind-the-scenes numbers, they had 2 A's, they had 1 B, they had a C minus, a D, and a D minus. All right? Then they kind of dialed into things. Now, cumulative GPA is it adds on to itself, so you don't get a reset. The top number is what they got in that semester, so they improved. They got a 3.4. Cumulative, though, they're at a 2.8, so they've got some work to kind of get up to that 3.0. To get to that 3.4, they cranked out 3 A's. They got 2 B pluses, an A minus, and a D plus. All right, so they had 3 A's, and everything else kind of slid up a little bit. So then they come in sophomore year, and they're getting traction. Their sophomore year is a 3.8. Cumulative becomes a 3.2. And to get that, they had 5 A's, they had 2 A minuses, and 1 B plus. And then they asked one, they rocked it 4.0, so straight A's. And their ending cumulative grade point average, is a 3.48, and that's after their sophomore year. What I want to illustrate is that student had some work to do. Like they had to get a 4.0 to climb. Now I'm going to show the other student that was just in the range but didn't like knock any semester out of the park. They just held on throughout. And this is how it plays out. Their opening semester, a 3.1. To get that 3.1, it was an A minus, an A B minus, a C plus, and a C. So no D's on that sheet there. Then the second semester, they had 2 A's, an A minus, a B plus, 2 B's, and a B minus. So they got rid of C's in that second semester. The next semester there, they've got 4 A's, A minus, a B, and a B plus. And then the last one there, it shakes out with 5 A's and 3 A minuses. So they didn't have the 4.0, but as you see things shake out, they still are at a better grade point average than our original student in their opening up semester. As a freshman teacher for a number of years, the thing that we got to get the kids and parents' mindset out of is passing is not enough, right? Like, oh, I passed. Like, you got the credit, so you're on your way to graduate, but we want to have doors open so you have opportunity down the road. And our quest to do that is to get a 3.0 or higher. And the way you do that is you put the work in, we put the work in, and we support you as you navigate your freshman year so that you can be successful and have a lot of opportunity for you in the future.
Mr. Block is coming right back after this. All right, so we know it's not easy. You have to be in school every day. You know, the University of Chicago did a research and they learned that if students are not missing 4 days of academic days, it's most chance that you're going to do well. And if you keep your GPA at 3 or up higher, 95% of the time, the students will graduate from high school. Mr. Block talked about opening the door for you. Our job and our goal is that all of you will be college ready, career ready. You don't have to choose the University of Medicine to go to, but we want to make sure you're ready to go to. Okay, so Mr. Block, why don't you come back and tell them what you're going to do as a 9th grade team?
I've already kind of alluded to it, but now I'll click through my slides, I guess. So here was my stat for graduation. So with high expectations of you to have the 3.0 and higher, it's going to take high support. And that's what our networks are all about. And our 9th grade network is our core teachers. So as I pointed out, that's going to be the science teacher, biology teacher. It'll be a history teacher, an English teacher, and a social studies teacher. Or math teacher, I think I missed that. Within that network, the advantages of the network are these 3 bullets here and more. It's like an infomercial, there's more, but this is the 3. Increased communication between teachers, so we as teachers are sharing students, and since we're sharing students, they won't get lost in the high school shuffle, right? They come in, I have a teacher, you have a teacher, we can meet, we have common planning time amongst staff to have those conversations and that dialogue, and foster that communication to wrap around these students so that they can be successful. We as a core will have common expectations. As a whole school, we have common expectations, but then we as a network will tighten that up even more so students know there's a consistent requirement for each class. And then in essence, it is making a smaller community in the West community. So we will have smaller cohorts of students that we will embrace. Some of you are familiar with the Hogwarts kind of environment. That's what we will establish. We will have monthly gatherings, competitions, things that will kind of keep us together as a team and tighten us as a pack, as a network, so that we can wrap around and develop a community within the community to support our freshmen. So as we were coming up with our discussions of networks, it was arduous. We had a list of things on a whiteboard that were specific colors, and we thought, well, let's just use those colors, and then we decided something better. So here's what we came up with. We couldn't just dig up any old name or just pull it from thin air, so we had to like brainstorm a little bit, and we had one really good idea, Ignite. And as a result of that, we are representing elements. So each network is representing an element. You may know your student's element. You may not know your student's element. I represent air. That's me. That's my elemental team is air. There's a fire team. There's an earth team. And there's a water team. So within our West Wolf community, you may hear buzz amongst your student or their peers, like, what network are you in? Oh, I'm in fire, I'm in air, I'm in wind, I'm in earth. So we will have an identity within our 9th grade networks, and it'll represent the elements is how we went with our naming structure. Very good.
Thank you, Mr. Block. With that said, Principal JP, Mr. Ford.
All right, we're going to jump into a few of these kind of universal school-wide policies here. So I want to lay out our universal expectations for cell phones. So why do we have a cell phone school-wide policy? So we're working on this one West, this one team, all in this together. So we're going to have a common expectation. Last year, we were rather inconsistent with our expectations around phones and electronics, particularly in the classrooms. And we want to make sure that during that instructional time, we're focused on learning. It also helps building our community. So you're going to see, if you are a student in the classroom, you're going to see one of three indicators: a red, meaning at this time our phones have got to be off and away; a yellow, which is a teacher-directed. You could listen to music perhaps, or do something constructive with your phone for the class you're in; or green, phone break. So phone status is just kind of setting that universal logo and clearly articulated on screen, up here, on posters, flip charts. If we're not following this, a student is going to place the phone in a shoe holder. They'll get it back at the end of the block, or a lockbox for the rest of the period, back at the end of class. If we're not following that expectation, then we're going to call for support, and we will bring the phone to the office for the rest of the day. So if we are getting some repeated instances, meaning we're not following this policy on a consistent kind of daily basis, we are going to be documenting that in IC, and we're going to be setting up a parent or caregiver meeting just to address kind of what's going on with the phone. We want to make sure that we're consistently following up. We're going to use restorative practices to assist with that, and we may also issue consequences such as a lunch detention or an in-school suspension. Looking at lunches, speaking of, we are shifting to a dine-in only. So we will not be allowing any sort of DoorDash or Grubhub deliveries. We want to make sure that we're focused on our learning. And so we found that a lot of these delivery models will happen during instructional time, and it'll pull us out of class, it'll keep us off task, and we want to make sure that we're staying focused on our school. This also aligns with our district wellness policy, and it prevents conflict with theft of food. Additionally, let's look at what's new. So while we've got no DoorDash or Grubhub, we do have other options. FFA partnership with our school nutrition. We've got a ProStart partnership with school nutrition. We have a lunch advisory student group. And your voice is definitely valued. What do you want to see there? And we've got a new place called Timbers Grab and Grub, available for lunch and breakfast. So finally, those universal expectations around hallways. We got to make sure that we are on time to class. We are issuing passes to use the restroom or get a drink of water after the first 10 minutes of class or before the last 10. We call it a first 10, last 10. Teachers and staff, we're all going to be in the halls, helping to make sure students are getting where they need to be once class starts. And if you're out in the halls, whether you're running to the restroom or you're grabbing a drink of water, you got to make sure we're having a pass with us. Bringing it now, kind of wrapped up. That was a whole lot of information, so we're going to break it up a little bit. I'm going to turn it over to JP. We're going to do a little heads and tails.
Copy that. Thank you, Ford. All right, you guys have been sitting for a little while. One of the things we've been talking about the last 3 days is our teachers have been focusing on how they teach the block. Last year when I talked to students who were in the hallway, and I sat with them and I said, tell me what's going on. Why aren't you in class? The number one answer that I got was 86 minutes is just too long, JP. Especially coming out of the pandemic. So we've been talking to teachers, and teachers have been planning and working and preparing for you to break that up, to intentionally do things like we're doing tonight. Get up, turn and talk to someone, meet someone new. Let's play a quick game. So it's gonna be time to stand up, but you're gonna stay in your spots. Don't walk around this time, just stand up. And we're gonna play a game called Heads and Tails. I've got a really fancy commemorative coin that I literally just took out of the plastic for this activity, so you should feel honored and proud of your presence. And this coin was given to all of our secondary staff last year by the district to commemorate that we did a thing. We opened a second comprehensive high school. We brought 9th graders back up to the high school, 8th grade back down to the middle school, and everybody moved and did something new. So this is the side I'm going to call heads. It's the district logo. And the side I'm going to call tails has all of our secondary schools, our 6 mascots on the back side. So what you're going to do is I'm going to say choose, and you got to do one of two things. You either predict you think it's going to be heads, and you put your hand on your head. Everybody practice, put your hand on your head. Good, you passed. Good job. All right, or you think it's tails, and you're going to put your hand on your hip. All right, if you're right, you're still in. You get to stay standing. If you're wrong, I'm sorry, we still love you. Sit down. You'll be out for that round. All right, so we're going to get started, and this is my first time of actually using this thing because I never stand still when I talk. All right, are we ready? While I flip, you choose head or tails. Pick one. Tails. Oh, we just took down like 2/3. Look at that. All right, my friends who are still standing, choose. Tails again. My friends that are still standing, choose. Heads. All right, friends who are still standing, choose. Tails. All right, if you're still standing, come up on stage. If you're still standing, come up on stage. Adults too, I see you back there, come on. There's stairs right over here, come on up. Line up on front, right over here. All right, now you're on stage and we're going to really keep you honest. All right, we're going to wait in suspense as our last couple come up. All right, here we go. Ready? Choose. Heads. Thanks for playing. Go have a seat. All right, you guys can spread out. Ready? Choose. Tails. All right. Now we've got to make sure that we split it up, so we can't all have the same thing. Ready? Go. Heads. And then there were 2. We'll see if you pick opposite ones. Choose. Pick one. Perfect. Okay, here we go. Drum roll, please. Tails, and the adults are victorious. Thank you, everybody, for playing, and we are going to give ourselves a power clap. Here's how it's going to work. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, and then like on 4. So after 3, we're all going to clap at the same time, and there's like hundreds of us in here. We're going to see how it goes. 1, 2, 3. Oh, that was pretty good. I think we can do better, though. One more time. 1, 2, 3. Hey, that was pretty impressive. Okay. Well done. All right. I'm going to take us through talking about our physical building, and then we're going to go for a walk, and we're going to take a tour. I'm sorry if there was a little miscommunication tonight. We are not going to have you walk your own schedule because we just don't have the staff for that tonight. However, we're going to walk you through it here, and then when you're out on your tour, you will be able to figure out where all of your classrooms are if you have your schedule pulled up on the phone, but we are going to stay on the first floor tonight. Okay, so stick with me for just a minute. I know it's getting a little long, and we just had some fun. Sun Prairie West High School is built like a baseball diamond. How many of you have not ever really walked through West? How many people have not been through much of West? Okay, about half of us. Cool. All right, so it's really like a baseball diamond, and here's how the baseball diamond is oriented. So we've got like our home plate which is kind of in like the commons area. And then we've got first, second, and third base that go around the back side of our learning communities. So on this far side over here, so when you're standing in the commons, it'll be kind of on your right. That's first base. That's your first baseline. And that's where our 1600 den is at. Right next to the 1600 is a bathroom area. The bathrooms are between the 600s and the 500s. Not only are there binary bathrooms there of men's and women's, but there's also all gender bathrooms there as well. And then you go to the 500s. If you keep walking around the base path and you go around second base towards third base, you're going to find the admin office. That's where my office is and where Dr. Lee's office is. Ford's office is up front, so if parents or students need support up front, he's at the front of the house, the front of the building. Then you're going to walk around and you're going to get to the 400s, another bathroom, over by third base, also all gender restrooms there, and then 300s are on the outside of the building. The 1000s of your room number tell you what floor you're on. So 1,000 first floor, 2,000 second floor, 3,000 third floor. And the hundreds tell you where you're oriented on the base path and what base you are near. Our physical education department is kind of behind home plate, and that's where you're going to find athletics. And so that is first floor, and we're going to walk you, we're going to break up into 5 groups, and we're going to do a walking tour of first floor tonight so that you can get a feel for that. Music is kind of over by the dugouts, and we'll walk through there as well. Here's the great news. Second floor is a lot like the first. So your 600, 500, 400, 300s, those are like towers that are stacked on top of each other. The office in the back in the middle on the second floor changes. That's where our special education office is for some of our students with different needs and that need special accommodations are on the second floor. And then also on the second floor, we have the LMC and the health rooms, as well as our wrestling room and fitness center is on the second floor. And then if you go up one more floor, it's the same thing repeated again, except this time we've just got the base paths. So it's just those towers in the academic wing in the back on the third floor that you got your 600s, 500s, 400s, and 300s. Okay? In the middle, it's dark outside, so it'll be a little hard to see. The middle of the baseball diamond is our beautiful courtyard. One of my favorite parts of this whole beautiful building is the courtyard. When it's nice outside, we have hundreds of students out there for lunch, playing football, throwing tennis balls, being careful of the windows, of course. Don't break a window. That would be bad.